A 3-month is a social month. It's a creative month. It's talks about communication. So the energy is altogether different than what we had for May.
What's coming up in the next couple of months? We're going to be talking to Sue about what's happening in the stars, in the astrology. So welcome, Sue. So glad to have you here for another visit for All Things Energy.
Hi, thanks for having me.
No worries, no worries. So we're going to talk about what's coming up in the next couple of months, which very interesting time. I can feel it in the energy. I'm sure you can as well. So you're probably looking at your charts and seeing what's going on. So interesting. Why don't we kind of get into it? And I do have a few questions that I'd like to talk about, but tell us exactly what's happening in the next couple of months, or at least we can open with that.
Okay, so we're coming out of the month of May. And May, the sun was in Taurus. Taurus is a fixed sign. So it's more like going day by day by day. Then in the Chinese horoscope, we were in a snake month. So the snake's very grounded too, right? It's right on the ground as it moves. And then for the number, we were in 11 month. So 5 for May and 6 for 2022. And the 11th month is kind of it's like a roller coaster of emotions. Because
that November?
Pardon me?
The 11th month is November?
Yes, but in numerology, when you add 5 for May and 2022 for this year comes to 11.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So it's like November 2 has this energy, but the 11 for the month of May is like your emotions are all over because there's 2 ones and it's like a male energy and a female energy, and they both want to be right. So you've got all this energy that's pouring out, and then you've got Taurus going day by day by day, and then you got the snake on the ground. So it's like the 11's trying to inspire us to get going, and the other 2 are saying, but just wait, just wait. Then when we go into June, we're in
interject there. You know, when you said it's encouraging us to get going, I don't know if anybody else is feeling this, but it's a little bit challenging, I'm finding at the time, to sort of get your accomplishments done, get inspired by things. I don't know if anybody else is having that issue. What do you think, Sue? Do you think people are sort of in that mode at this point?
Well, yes, I think we want to get going, but we're not. It's just like, that's that 11, right? Come on,
That's
let's
what it
go.
feels like.
No, let's not. It's the back and forth and back and forth. Okay, so then when we go into June, where the sun is now, in June, the sun is in Gemini, but right as today, the sun is in Gemini, but for June, it'll be there all month. And Gemini is an air sign. So we're going from this earthy energy to air, and air is our mind, our words, our communication. In the Chinese zodiac, we're going into a horse month, so that for them is a cheerful animal and a moving animal. So see how the energy is already starting to change by next month.
So that's going to actually help us progress, and maybe we should just kind of sit in our peace and get grounded, and you know, because the inspiration will come in a few weeks where we're going to feel really motivated to get things accomplished. Is that sort of the way we're heading?
Yes,
Wonderful.
but the 2 months are so totally different, right? Then we went from the 2 month, now we're going into a 3 month. So when you take June as 6 and add it to 2022, it comes out to 6 and 6 is 12. A 3 month is a social month. It's a creative month. It's talks about communication. So the energy is altogether different than what we had for May. So it's like, it's more movable than May was. So May was kind of, pardon me?
Sorry, and that's going to affect our animals as well as our person, that kind of thing. You're going to notice that as well.
Yeah, everything changes this month.
Very
after this
interesting.
moon.
Good.
Yeah.
Change is good. Embrace change. I know change can be fearful for a lot of people, but honestly, change is probably the best thing that we can do. Even if we don't know exactly what's coming ahead, embrace it. Go moment to moment and just embrace what's happening. And if it's not working, change it.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's good, but you just have to challenge yourself to challenge the change.
Exactly. Good, good, good. Okay. So we wanted to talk about the new moons and the full moons. Is that something that we should be really paying attention to as well?
Well, the moon is one of the fastest moving planets, if you want to call it. It's a luminary, but the moon triggers everything. That's why you should watch the new moons and the full moons. So we're having a new moon now in Gemini. In the middle of the month, we have a full moon in Sagittarius. And then at the end of June, we have the moon going in, or the new moon in Cancer. So see, the first of the month, when this new moon's in Gemini, that's an air sign. Everything gets moving, our mind, our words. The middle of the month, the full moon is in Sagittarius. That's a fire sign. So see, the energy is still moving. But when we get to the end of the month, when we have the new moon in Cancer, it's going to be more emotional. Right now, it's not as emotional as it will be when we get the new moon in Cancer at the end of the month.
I think it's good to have these little warnings because, sometimes emotion will bring out things that maybe are not always the best choices or bring out different kinds of emotion, whether it be anger or sadness or depression or something along those lines. So we want to be really cognizant of that. I think that's something to understand. It's not always you feeling emotions. We do personalize it, but it could be how the energies are aligning that changes the way we think.
Oh, yes. And the moon moves so fast. Like the moon goes around the zodiac like once a month, right? Every 29 days, we have like a new moon. So it's new beginnings. And then we have that full moon in between. And those are just like the tides, right? How they tell how the tides come in and go out and everything. That's how our emotion goes. But the moon is what usually triggers everything.
So if you're having a baby, then the end of the month is going to be significant. So during the full moon, right? There's always that story that you go into labor on the full moons. And I know quite a few pregnant women who are anxious to have their little family members joining. So, but that should be interesting at the end of the month. We should see how they correlate there.
Yes, yes, it'd be good.
Great. That's awesome. So, okay. So do you want to explain a little bit more about how the moons kind of affect us in those strange ways?
The moon, the moon just triggers everything emotionally. So it just depends how it's lining up with the other planets. And then when we have a new moon, the sun and the moon are together. So but it's darkness, right? So it's like the beginnings. And then when we come to the full moon, the sun and the moon are opposite each other. So there's that pull, right? They're not together. They're on opposite signs and on the opposite sides of the earth. And it's just, I think that the moon is so strong that's why everything we're so emotional, right? It controls a lot, the moon, how it travels around.
I knew years ago I had read something. I looked into Wiccan for a while just to see what it was all about. And they were saying that they do spells during the moon, so could you just manifest certain things? Like if the moon is growing, you're going to manifest things coming your way. If it's shrinking, the things you don't want any longer in your world is when you push that away. Have you ever heard of that in understanding the moon?
Yes, yes. Like, see, right now with this new moon in Gemini, if you do all that kind of manifesting and you write notes and wishes and all that, right now it's our mind, our words, travel, anything that's moving, right? So if you want to manifest I don't know, reading and writing and all that kind of stuff, you know, to do more projects or something like that. Now you started on a new moon, and when the moon comes full, that's when you're going to see everything that you've been working on for 2 weeks, right? It's right
Together.
out there. And yes, and then it starts waning, and then it goes dark again, right? So it goes from dark to light to dark to light. So there's this continual cycle. Every 14 days, the sun is either dark or it's light.
And I'm going to say, I noticed that in my own sort of ebbs and flows. Sometimes I'm like really into things and I can't leave them alone and I work with them all day. And then other days I'm like, I am not even looking at that.
Yes.
So it's
And
really funny how that works in my world as well. So I'm assuming that that goes for everybody across the board.
yes, and that's like what they say with the full moon, because everybody's highly charged when there's a full moon, right? Because we got more energy. The sun is the closest in that then, or the moon. The moon's the closest to us at a full moon, right?
So interesting. I find all of this so fascinating. I don't know as much about it as I would like to, but I'm hoping you're going to teach me and our audience and anybody who's watching. I think this is fantastic information.
Oh, yes, there's all kinds of information about the moon. Even the day you're born, you know, means a specific thing. And I'm going to tell you today about where these new and full moons are on certain degrees for symbols and that. So it's just layer on top of layer. When you do astrology, there's all kinds of layers and information. But the moon is, I don't know, it's like the powerhouse. It's the one that triggers everything.
So I see on your list here, wild card. Can you explain to me what a wild card is?
Oh, the wild card would be in just before the full moon. Okay, so we're in Gemini. Oh, I'll tell you this first. For Gemini season, so right now, people born like in June, the end of May, in June, the sun's shining on you. The sun's in your sign, right? For people that are Sagittarius, they're born at the end of the month or at the end of the year. This is when the sun is the furthest away from your sign. So sometimes you might not feel, or for some people, you might not have energy when we're in June because the sun is the furthest away from you. Right? When we're, it just left Taurus. So Taurus people are still having this sun, and Cancer people are next. So July birthdays, they're waiting for the sun. They can feel that energy coming, right? Because the sun is full of energy. Now, if you're a Leo, this is the month for you to make your big wishes. This is the granddaddy power time for you. There's a school of thought that says when there is a new moon in your 11th house, that's when you make your big wishes. So you get, each sign gets one new moon, one full moon, and 1 month of big wishes. And this Leo, they're having the new moon in the 11th house. So if you're a Leo, make all your big wishes and what you're planning on doing for the year. Then at the first of
and you can even light a candle and blow it out if you want.
Oh, for sure. Whatever you do, whatever works.
Make the wish.
I know all this stuff. I just don't do any of it because I sit to wait to see if, you know, what's coming, but I'm not going to do any of it just because I'm tired by the time I go to bed at night thinking about it. I'm just like, just let it be.
You know, it's funny. I'm a Cancer baby, and in the beginning of July there, and it's so funny. I went out with my aunt for lunch the other day, and she's like, "Oh, we need to go to the casino on your birthday because every year we'll go to the casino and then we'll go out for dinner, and that's kind of our lunch date." And I always win on my birthday. It never fails. It's happened for years and years and years.
Well, in numerology, that is one of your power days.
It
the day
is.
you're born. That number. Yeah,
And
whatever
I was
year.
born July 7th, 69. So it ends up being 777, which is, I mean, when you go into the casino, it's 777, right? Everywhere you look. So it's kind of all fitting. It's very interesting how it works.
Yes, that's neat.
Yeah.
So,
Good.
so
Well, that wild card is great. That's a good thing. Planets in your sign. Oh, that was what you were talking about.
okay.
Good, good.
Oh, yes, I'm not to the wild card yet. I
Oh,
wanted to get these other two because I had my dates wrote down on June the 3rd. You know how you hear of Mercury going reverse? It
in
doesn't really
retrograde?
go. Yes.
Okay.
So it doesn't really do that. Honestly, it just slows down and it feels like it's going backwards, but it really isn't. So it's in retrograde right now in Taurus, but on June 3rd, it's going to station and start speeding up, right? Going the other way. But it's going to land on one of these stars that's kind of toxic. So around June 3rd, watch your words for about a day or so, because it's going to be kind of tense. That's supposed to be, you know how you have some of those days that nothing's wrong, but nothing's right either, or somebody might say something that just wasn't appropriate or something like that. It might be something like that. And you wonder what the heck's going on. Well, that Mercury is our mind and our words, and it's coming to a halt and it's going to start speeding up. But it doesn't always hit the star, but it's hitting a star right now that's kind of toxic. So that's what's going to happen there. The 4th, 5th, and 6th, Mars is going to come together with Jupiter, and that is luck with action. So yes, get to the casino if it's your birthday or around your birthday. So that's good time. That is good. Mars is the warrior, it's action. Jupiter likes to expand everything. So all this energy. So see how much energy we're having, and it's positive stuff, except for that 3rd of June when that Mercury's hitting that star. But other than that, we've got good energy all coming our way. Then the wild card, the 10th, the 11th, 12th, and 13th. Now, Uranus is in Taurus, and Uranus is like a rebel. It's a wild card. You never know what's going to happen. You just expect the unexpected. And Venus is going up on that side of the chart. And Venus is love, money, beauty. It's like a nice flowing harmony planet, but it's going to hit this Uranus that it's the wild card, right? We don't know. So, somebody may bring you flowers. You may win. It's like an unexpected surprise.
Nice.
So that's going to be interesting. And it all depends what's on your chart, but it's on everyone's chart somewhere, right? But we just don't know where. So that was the wild card. And then when we come to the June 14th, we have that full moon in Sagittarius. So if you're Sagittarius, this is your full moon this year, but this is being activated from 6 months ago, right? Because Sagittarius had a new moon 6 months ago. Now this moon is full. Okay, but for us, it's like full for everyone, but for that sign particularly, right? This is their full moon. And the symbol that it's at is a bluebird, a sign of luck, happiness, standing at the door of the house. So here's another little surprise. That's a good little symbol too, right? So we went through this wild card with Venus, and now we've got the symbol of the bluebird standing in the door.
So when the blue jay sits on my windowsill, that's a good sign. It does it all the time.
Oh, yes. So that's good. That's all coming this way. The only thing with this full moon is going to square Neptune. So watch what your beliefs are, because Neptune is like a fog over everything, right? So it's like pin down your beliefs, because we've got Jupiter expanding. Jupiter is also a planet of faith and luck. And then we got the sun and the moon there, but Neptune's got a cloud over it. So watch your mind, because Mercury's getting ready to go faster, speeding up. We got this full moon. Sagittarius is a fire sign. We've got all this energy. And then we got this Neptune throwing a fog over everything. So like it's good energy, but know what, when this full moon comes, understand and be grounded if you're doing stuff, right?
So then if you're in the middle of this month, you should watch this video again to be reminded.
Oh, Oh, thanks. The 21st, we get the change of the season with the summer solstice, right? And then the sun's going to go into Cancer. So it's for the Cancer people. But through this month, we have 5 planets in their home sign. So they're relaxed there, right? They go around the wheels, the zodiac wheel, and then they come back to the house that they rule. So Venus is in Taurus, so it's relaxed because Venus is love, money, you know, and it's just like in Taurus is patient and day by day, as long as you don't make the bull mad, right? In Taurus. Mars is in Aries. Aries is the first sign, Mars is the warrior. So it's ready to go. So we've got this action, relaxed action energy, right? We got all this, it's not aggressive or anything. It's just kind of moving ahead. Saturn's in Aquarius. So this is building our future. So we're like, you know, you're thinking about it and trying to move ahead and everything's going, and Neptune's in Pisces. So it's still healing. We're all still healing energy. We've got that energy. And Mercury is direct going into Gemini, and we're thinking and talking about it all. So that for the month of June, that is good energy. It's not aggressive energy. We got a couple little surprises coming, but it's good for the whole
month. I think that's fantastic. How great is that? We need a little bit of light going on, and you know, it's funny. I think the world goes in these ebbs and flows, and I understand what you mean. You know, you go out into the world and you're at the grocery store and people are aggressive and or what have you, and you're thinking, oh, there's something in the air. But you know, I guess we need to look at maybe there's something in the planets. We need to change the way we state that.
It's interesting when you study it to see how it all goes. Like this month of May, it has been kind of tense, right? So it'll be interesting to see if June does. It's supposed to relax, but it's still moving forward energy, right? It's just where the planets are starting to be placed, and that Mercury retrograde, it just slows down our mind and communication. You know, it's got anything to do with technology, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Very good. Yes. Okay. Well, then I'll keep mindful of that, because I think too, when you're not doing what you think you should be doing, or, you know, like I'm putting together these channels and the show and what have you. And sometimes it's a little bit harder to kind of get to the computer and get to the desk to do that. And then other days you got a pep in your step and you're ready to go. But
yes.
I guess we could just, you know, respect the fact that you're doing exactly what it is. And when you're creative, instead of pushing yourself, when you're creative and feeling that flow of creativity, that's when you should be doing it anyway. So I don't know. I think this is great advice. And I think it really helps put the mood in and the energy kind of in perspective for people, Sue.
Yes, like last month, or like for May, like you have to think of that 11, right? The roller coaster. But it's very inspiring, but you just don't get anywhere with it, right? It's not grounded. It was in Taurus and the snake and all that, but it's like lightning hitting. So really, it's not hooked on to anything. And then on the opposite side of that, it's more passive, because 1 and 1 is 2, right? And that rules the moon. And so it's like more flowing, and, you know, it's not aggressive or anything. But now this month for June, when you put 6 and 22, it's a creative month. 3 is creative. It's social. It likes to talk. It likes to move. It creates the 1 and 2. We come to the 3, and then it's like a spring. Everything's moving around. So yeah, this month should be good for everyone, just to have a little bit of uplifting energy. That's not toxic and not aggressive, and it's just smooth. It should be smooth.
I like smooth. And what's so great about this is that whenever you're creative or you're really tapping into that, you're so much closer to spirit when you're creating things. It's sort of like that same analogy of automatic writing. When you're painting, you know, painters will tell you, I get into the zone. Well, they're automatic painting, really. And this is really our connection to spirit as well. So it's great to kind of have little tidbits along the way, but we can use this energy in a very positive way as well. Even when things aren't flowing smooth, if you understand that you can hold your composure through this because you really understand what's going on in the energy fluctuation. But you know, when you're feeling creative and you're feeling inspired, get to it. Don't resist it.
Yes. Yes, that's good.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic, Sue. Wonderful information. I think you should, you know, maybe give us a little bit of a tidbit every month, just so we kind of know what's sort of coming up and, you know, have a little preview about that. I think that would be really awesome.
Yes. It's not like, it's not everything that's going on, but those are like stronger energies than, you know, the other stuff that happens. It's just like for a few hours or whatever when the planets are passing. But no, this June and July is going to be kind of smooth. And then comes August, and August is like, there's a lot of heat coming our way.
It's already a hot summer, so you can tell that that's coming. So that's awesome, Sue. Thank you so much. Now, how can people get a hold of you again?
Okay, got one more thing before we go.
Perfect.
June 30th and July 1st. So at the very end of the month, Mars and Pluto is going to square in the sky, right? So they're going to go like that.
Okay.
Mars is the warrior, it's aggressive, and Pluto likes to transform. It's like the underbelly of everything. It goes right underneath and it comes up to change everything. So it's going to be aggressive. It's going to be toxic. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be aggressive just for those 2 days. So if you got anything going on, just be aware of the power struggles on June 30th and July 1st. And then July, we're going into, I think it's a goat month. So then again, that's easy energy, right? It's like the horse. It's still up off the ground and it's still moving. And if anyone's wondering, in astrology, Johnny wins. I know you're watching Johnny Depp. He's in astrology. I've watched quite a few videos of people that do where their stars are and everything. And so I don't know, I guess today we're supposed to know. It'd be kind of neat to see if that's what happened. It all depends on the jury too, but in astrology, he's going to win.
He's going to win. If you watched any of the trial, you can tell he's going to win.
Oh, I'm so glad it's over. It's like, bye-bye.
You know, in one way, I feel sorry for the guy, and you know, everybody is very endearing to him, and the women who fall in love with him fall madly and deeply in love with him. It's really funny. You can see it when they look at him. It's he's an interesting character. So, but he is part of Hollywood, so I always have my skeptical eyes open when it comes to people in Hollywood and who have that much influence and power. So.
Yeah, that was toxic. That was toxic. I just wish they'd say, pay off your lawyers and go and get help. Both,
yeah, exactly.
But it's entertainment.
Well, it's a distraction as well, I think, and that has something to do with what's going on too. So I don't know. All of this media and stuff like that. There really is an overload, and I just, you know, I think it's really important to watch positive things to kind of help you focus your energy a little bit better, like shows like this.
Yes. No, yes. That's why I study the astrology and the numbers and all that, just to get away from, you get caught up on it. Too many people get caught up.
You do. And it changes your energy. It changes how you feel about things and how you see things. And you have to be aware of that. I think that's just about knowing thyself, of course, but yeah, it's interesting times for sure. But Sue, this has been an absolute wonderful conversation. Thank you so much. Again, how can people get a hold of you if they're interested in getting a chart done?
Sue Nadeau, so SNADEAU 6 at yahoo.com or suenadeau.com. I've got just a small website up.
Good. Wonderful. I'll put a link in the bottom of the video and just to make it easy. And again, thank you everybody for joining us for All Things Energy. And we wish you the best day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye, Sue.
Bye.